MRCX. It's our race 4 of the year here at Azerbaijan. I had a lovely chat with Connor for about 5 minutes before this. It was charming. I'll record it. I'll put it on the Discord. You can tell how good it is. But instead, we're going to go really quickly into our race here at Azerbaijan as we set everything up. It is a reverse grid race tonight, so we've got it in reverse championship order, and it's going to be 100% as well. So if you are listening, you're in for the long haul. I apologise that you have got me for 1.5 hours, but to counterbalance that, we've got the wonderful Connor Hardy, who's going to entertain us with his James A. Caster vibes. What do you think of this track then, Connor?
I, in general, actually probably am in the minority in the fact that I actually do love this track.
Oh, okay. Explain why, because you've just heard off air, you've heard my anti-Azerbaijan rant against the track, not the people. But yeah,
you hate it. But no, for me, it's just a track that, for some reason or another, I've always been just quick at it. And I've never had a good result here for various reasons. I won't mention on stream. But in general, my pace is usually pretty strong around here. So
okay. Well, we'll see. I mean, just as a warning for drivers tonight, obviously we've got the formation lap, fingers crossed, that won't glitch like we got in Australia. We think it's just an Australia thing. And finally, we have red flags turned on tonight, so we might see our first ever red flag here at Azerbaijan. It is possible. I think if we lose a couple of cars in the castle section and we get a car park there, might be the case. But we will see what happens if we've got our drivers lining up on focused on Kid Dynamite and his star and stripe livery at the back of the grid.
It's about time he started last. It's about time he had a bit of handicap, isn't it, to be honest?
Exactly. We will see what happens as the drivers start to line up. Fingers crossed. We've got, there we go, 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Going to hold for a long time, and it's going to hold again, because it always does on this game. When are they going to go? And they're away. There's Avinash right at the start. You've got the worst camera angle in the world. You can see, look at that start he's got. Wonderful. Who's going to make it through at the back? Have we got a little bit of chaos there? There's an Audi in the side, but I think everybody has managed to make it through. We haven't got too many people.
I think it's Smith's round.
Oh, Smith's round at the back. That's so disappointing. We've got a yellow there that's flashing on the screen, but no virtual safety car, so it will just be a caution. So fingers crossed. We've got Rishi and Womax going side by side into turn 3. A big overtaking opportunity. Not here. Remember, we've got the slowest cars at the front, the fastest cars at the back, so we'd expect a few to start making their moves up the grid. We've already got Womack. Look at that as he goes past Rishi. That's usually single file through this section, but he got the exit.
It's gone very deep, though. That's the issue into that part of the track. It might give Richie another opportunity to come back, but actually Richie's now under pressure from Mr. Smooth.
Yeah, Johnny Smooth is really, he's got the line, but again, this tends to be single file through here, and they're a bit well behaved, bit of a tap on the backside for good measure, but they're all facing the right way, so that's what we want to see. Look at them go through the castle section, just 7.6 metres wide, and there's a car around! Who's that?
Ninja and Bergen, I wanted to say.
Yeah, that was
That's
odd.
what it looked like.
We just sort of caught the end of that. Suddenly there was a car on the side, and maybe there was a bash up the backside, but can be, particularly when you've got these different tiers of drivers. Some can go, oh, that's a shame, and is that going to bring out the safety car? It's a full yellow, so it is a virtual safety car. Do you know what settings we've got the safety car on tonight, Connor? Is it full or is it
reduced? Because that is... We've noticed that, I mean, last week in Australia we had like 6 on reduced, so I think it's better to calm it down a bit, especially for a track like Baku.
Yes, it does tend to be. I'm going to go to the back and see if we can see. I know we're just past whatever wreckage or whatever he's come out. Smith there with no front wing on his car as we go into, look at that, that must be an absolute nightmare. Azerbaijan is tricky at best of times, but with no front wing it is impossible. So he'll have wanted a full safety car, but he just gets the virtual, and it's going to be a struggle for him to make his way back up the field.
Yeah, the man who you are replacing tonight is in YouTube chat saying hi, Mr. Simba.
Hello, Simba. I hope he's doing well. I hope you're enjoying the break. You deserve it. It's been a busy few weeks, hasn't it? I think if you're part of the stewards chat, it hasn't stopped, has it?
We've been stewarding up to 7 days a week at the minute.
It feels like it at times.
And I haven't. And some nights you sleep for 5 hours, and then you're up again and stewarding straight away.
Yeah.
And that's not a lie. That's not a joke.
No, that is very, very true. So we're going back racing here. We're full green. Let's see if there's anyone who was caught out there. We've got Avinash got a 4.5 second lead at the front. So it's been very good for the man who started on pole.
Who let him start on pole? That's the question I have.
That's a good question. If only we could work out who hosted the session and who set it up. We'd have to ask.
I didn't organise the grid. I will not take that.
It's fine. We're going to follow these guys through here.
Everyone's very. In some way, it's good to see how cautious everyone kind of is this early. But can I just point out the start from Mr. Hills?
Where is Martin Hills?
He started P15. He's up to P6.
Yeah, he must have either just kept his nose very, very clean, or he's been opportunistic. But that's been an excellent drive from him. Let's see if the camera focuses on him. There we go. Look at that! Look at that glorious livery. He's got the colours of the Azerbaijan.
Yeah, I think Avinash has gone the same as well, or similar anyway. But
yes, similar vibes, but slightly different. I'm going to stick on board then because DRS not quite available, but Johnny Smooth is looking at Biff, and has he gone past already? Womax is out, and is that going to bring out? There's another virtual. So let's go to the back of the field. Let's see if we can see any wreckage.
Jetcake's just here, and so is Biff. So I wonder if they're just like, let's get off the soft. Oh, full safety car now. It's actually coming out the pits. It hasn't been announced, but the safety car is. Please don't tell me it's a glitch. It's a virtual safety car, but the safety car I've just seen it leave the pits.
Okay, let's see if we can catch it. There it is. There's the red safety car. Bergen's forming up behind it as
there
it
you go.
stands.
Now it says safety car. Thank goodness.
There we go.
I was scared for a second.
Safety car moves over to let the rest of the field pass, so it will catch up both for drivers like Smith, like Richie, who'd had a bit of an incident, a few bits of carbon fibre off. They'll be able to pit and get some new bits on their car. For everybody else, they'll be forming up. And this is kind of, I feel this is another thing that just about Azerbaijan that I find difficult. You're almost guaranteed a safety car, and it's very hard to find your rhythm around here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, this is the kind of track where you either want to start first or last, if I'm being completely honest. Like, you don't want to be in anywhere between 19th and 2nd, because anything can happen from that point.
Correct.
But, yeah.
Yeah, it's a track that, well, particularly I think some of the big challenges of this game is the way that your braking difference changes when your tyres run out, the way your braking difference changes when you've got ERS and DRS. And boy, I think into turn 1, when we get those people making those moves with the DRS flap open and ERS, we might see some people outbraking themselves and having to go into the runoff area, because that's certainly what I experienced in practice. Braking around 150 sometimes doesn't even feel enough. You've got to brake in sooner.
Well, this is what I mean. Like on the last game, you could brake just before the 100 metres. On this game, I've done 3 laps of time trial, broke at 100 metres, and ended up in the escape road wall. So, Avinash is in the pits, by the way.
Rishi's out.
Richie's out. Ooh.
Where's that happened? That's been is that in the castle section as well?
Yeah, he's gone straight to the wall in the castle. Oh, that's a big shame.
Goodness me, I mean, there's ways to emulate Charles Leclerc, but I think it's more winning in Monza and a Ferrari rather than bashing it into the castle wall.
I think his language will be a bit stronger than I am stupid this time, to be honest.
It will, particularly when it happens under a safety car. It was under a safety car that we had the, I think Ericsson hit us from Grosjean, so he's not the first driver to do it around here, so professionals have done it as well, so don't be too ashamed. But the grid is ever getting smaller and smaller. After 3 laps, we've lost 3 cars, and now there's 17 drivers.
I'll tell you what, if you want a heroic person to hit the wall in the castle section, just tune in to me on Monday. I'll do it accidentally for everyone.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a shame. But I think Jackster, I need to have words with Jackster. Strong words.
Why is that? I need to say, I need strong words with Jackster, which is, I'm really, really sorry, mate. I tried to overtake you in Australia. And I'm not a professional race car driver, and I'm not good enough to do that. Apparently,
we did see it in YouTube. We did see that one in the stewards. That was fun.
Yeah, that was very, very fun. I've got a naughty boy. I'm sitting on the sidelines for qualifying on Monday, which, to be honest, I don't mind.
Yeah, I did that in Bahrain.
Yeah.
But there you go. We're both naughty boys this season. We've both been on the naughty step for a qualifying session.
Yeah.
But Jack, the reason I want to have a word with him is the Williams livery. I'm not happy about it.
Why? I think it looks gorgeous. I mean,
I'm not saying it doesn't, but it's the lack of effort.
Has he got the Miami helmet on as well? I think he has.
He actually has. That's literally what I did in Tier 2. Just for Mark Hodgson, I put the Max Verstappen helmet on, and apparently he's not too happy with me about it. But,
no livery design, straight out the box. I mean, we can have a go at G-Star as well, who's got the default livery.
I mean, I understand if you've had no time to make one. I do kind of understand that, but come on, guys. You're all learning too much from Gav.
Exactly. We can all be reasonable, and I'd love to be reasonable. This is safety car chat, so it's time we give a little bit back, I think. Yeah.
Smoggy Ghost also, you're in for a big punishment. You're running the Williams as well.
Looks really good, though.
No, it does. There's no denying that for 1 second. I completely agree with you. Chelsea, you're in trouble. You're running the Audi.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Chelsea's got no front wing.
Yeah, I've just gone to that and see that. That's a bit of an issue for Chelsea. I hope he gets that sorted this lap. Other than that, you're all fairly safe from the wrath of my mouth at the moment.
I do like. I'm having a look. So let's have a look at the liveries go around. I quite like Donny's.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It is nice.
A good mix of colours there. We've got Johnny Smooth, who's gone for a very elaborate colour scheme. You're not going to miss him in a crowd here. We've gone through single tracks and jacks. There's Avanash's, as we've said, is along the same lines as Martin's with the Azerbaijan colours.
It's very nice as well, may I say. I think that's beautiful. G-Star skip. Bergen's is actually weirdly nice.
Yeah, I think it's very on brand. Bergen, always in the comments in the Discord, you'll see him leave a little purple heart, and it's almost the same shade of purple, so at least he is consistent in his branding, looking to, like how George Russell always has like the 63 and makes it look like the GR. I think Bergs is going for that kind of vibe. He wants to have brand Bergen, so yeah, MRCX is the time to promote that era voice. Let's see what he's done very well in Tier 2. Oh, that's almost like a classic Lotus livery. I like that one with the green and green and yellow.
Morphe's is very, very... It's almost like an Arrows orange, but then grey.
It is, yeah. Maybe add the black in to really make the orange pop, and you'll have a Daddy Verstappen livery there, who used to be in the Arrows.
The rubbish Verstappen. I probably just triggered a lot of Dutch people again. Oh well.
I think in terms of World Championships and race wins, the stats are pretty undeniable there, so you're not in too much trouble.
Dynamite's running a reverse American flag.
He is.
Which is with slightly different colour scheme.
Oh, I like it a bit.
Carla's gone for the chrome, hasn't he?
He has. He's gone for his recreation of the new McLaren livery, and not the same. You see, that's what you should do, boys. If you're going to put your own livery together, if you want to emulate the Williams one, then you do it at the start. But I think we've got the safety car in this lap, so let's stop talking about the safety car, and I'll go on board with Donny, who's warming up his tyres. I think this is a nightmare start for people because it's such a long straight, isn't it? It's just all about when you go.
It's the worst on the calendar for a restart, in my opinion. You've got to either go sit like very, very early or very, very late. There's no in between here, is there really? No,
I'm going to stick on board. I usually stick on board with the leader, but I'm going to stick on board with Johnny Smooth, who's in second. Look, he's staying straight, and Donny is just weaving from side to side to side. Side to side, and he's going to wait for that moment where that car in front straightens up and decides to go. It's almost as if he's taking this all the way to the line. No, he's not. There we go. He's gone. And he hasn't really got Johnny Smooth single, but look at single track. He's almost alongside Johnny Smooth already. We said he had a massive start. He's already up into P3. Could it be even better? There's a little squeeze.
There's a bit of contact.
Yeah, it was.
I tell you something, their liveries look very similar from up above, just with slightly different colour scheme. But Martin's going to have the exit. Johnny Smooth's had a twitch.
Yeah, a big
Martin
twitch.
is going to be rubbing his hands together already at this early in the session.
Yes, and now is the time to spend your ERS as well. Remember, there is no DRS for the next 2 laps. And he's just put it up into P2, textbook. And I think that's been a wonderful start. Remember, he's not in the Challenger tier. He is our primary MRCX man tonight.
Yeah, he's going to be absolutely loving this as well, because not many of the. I mean, only Jackster, but Jackster's on the alternate strategy to him. It's kind of everybody else has sort of just not really got going in the elite tier, so he's kind of out there on his own at the minute in terms of his strategy.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on Kid Dynamite. Remember, started at the back of the grid up into P10, so you'd think that he would be the fastest, and he wants to clear this traffic. They've been a bit frustrated, haven't they? We had that safety car come out on lap 3, so maybe that's why they haven't made their mind up as quickly as possible. But also, Baku is a tough place. Oh, there's a car in the wall! Jax is in the wall! Don't know if there was contact, but there is another safety car.
I feel like this is going to be a running theme tonight. To be completely honest, 51 laps of. Oh, okay. But no. So we could break records tonight. That we could hit the most safety cars ever reached. But then I hope we don't reach the amount of finishes record, because that was 3 in tier 4. Yeah. So
we don't want a battle royale style. We don't want. I think it was Monaco '96, if you remember, where cars just kept eliminating themselves, and you get a winner like Olivier Parnis. So we'll see. We could have a surprise result tonight. Excuse me. We could have a surprise result tonight if we're not careful. I'm going to have a look at the liveries again, because we can go down the field and see who's available. Gekke's at the moment. Look at that. It's sort of like a Ferrari theme, a red theme with the yellow arrows. It's distinctive. I like that one.
Who's that one? Gekke?
Gekke, yeah.
Yeah, Gekke he's getting very creative, because he used to run basic liveries and I told him off. No former teammate of mine is allowed to run Gab does, but no, I really like Gekke's actually now I'm looking at it.
Yeah. It's a very nice one. Smoggy Ghost, I think we've already commented on with the standard Williams livery. It's a nice one. Also with the Max Verstappen helmet as well, so he's showing off his bling. Biff. Let's see what Biff's done.
I weirdly like that.
Yeah, it's almost like a sky blue with the white. It works really well. That's kind of... It goes past you too quickly. You think, yeah, a team could run that livery. And I always like those blues, whites and reds. It reminds me of one of my favourite cars, which was the 97 Arrows driven by Damon Hill. So, yeah, I'm up for that. Let's go to Ant, who's started on the hards. Always one for the alternate strategy here. A black, yellow and red livery. Belgian theme, do you think? Belgian flag. It is quite striking, that one.
Yeah, that is... It's nice, though. I like... It's kind of like a matte black as well, which I really like, so... Yeah, not bad. I don't like complimenting Hank, because he gets really excited.
Okay, alright, yeah, we can talk him down if you want.
But, I mean... No, it's awful, terrible. Worst livery on the grid.
Lovely. Okay. Well, we'll move on to Smith then. I quite like Smith's as well. Sort of a white.
Looks a tiny bit like, just without the origin, without the red and the yellow, but it looks a tiny bit like 2010 Sauber.
Oh yes, I know what you mean. Was 2010
just without the red on the back?
Yeah. Was 2010 the year where they had the ugly noses and the tiny skinny cars? Is that right? Have I got that right in my head?
2013 was
2013. I'm trying to remember when
2013 was the really ugly noses, because it had like the big bump in the nose,
yeah, the big steps. Thank goodness we're past that area.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, now they've all got normal noses. But I called them Zlatan Ibrahimovic cars. But no, yeah. I think it's the car that had the Chelsea badge on the front of it, which obviously made it instantly ugly. But but no, his actually looked good. I actually like the colour of it. He's kind of made a better version of the Sauber livery. Yeah, is what I would say.
I like that. We've got Johnny Smooth as well, who is... I think we've already focused on his. He's quite a crazy, wavy livery.
It's striking, let's put it that way.
Yeah. You won't miss him on a night out, and then right at the back...
I'm so glad it's not ridiculously sunny, because my eyes would be... Yeah. And then Chelsea in the Audi. In the Audi,
which is one of the standard ones that comes. It'll be a good car. I mean, obviously that's like a concept livery. I do wonder what it'll be like when they eventually
It's just sadly 3 years too early. Listen. Yeah. But he'll get there.
Can all dream. So I think everybody is up behind the safety car now. I think we will go racing this lap, fingers crossed. I'm just going to have a look at the position changes. So I've got it up on screen, there we go. So our big winner so far, Donny up 6th place, single track up 13, Avinash down 2, but remember he took an early pit stop. G-Star up 12, Bergen up 8, Hero Voice up 6, Lorpy up 11, and Kid Dynamite up 12. We are sort of seeing, apart from Avinash maybe, those elite tier guys have already jumped, well, the majority of them have jumped those challenger tier guys. It's sort of evening out. So, but that's what you want to see. You want to see the fastest drivers up against each other. We do have a couple of mad laps here, and as we come up to just under 20% of our way through the race, fingers crossed we'll actually get some racing laps.
What's that? I don't know what racing is.
I know, it does seem a bit alien on this game, but it was Azerbaijan. You knew this was going to happen. You knew it was going to have a few cars in the wall. It is such a punishing track. There we go, safety car in this lap. So let's see how many laps of racing we can get this time and when Donny is going to go. I'm going to go on board with single track. I always wonder what
I'm going to ask YouTube a chat question quickly.
Yeah,
Name us your favourite Baku race for the next safety car. We can talk through the Baku races in real life.
Yeah.
Because there's been some great ones and not so great, i.e. 2023. But yeah.
Well,
Mine says Bernard today is going to be desperate for a wee. True. So.
I think Azerbaijan is kind of a track that is defined by safety cars. The best races happen when you've got safety cars bunching the field up. The worst ones is when there's no safety cars.
It's the reason I watch it. And when Hamilton clicks the magic button, that's also pretty iconic.
I mean, yeah,
I'm going to be murdered.
Right, Donny's gone. He's gone. We were on board with single track, and maybe he was caught. I don't think he's kept sleeping. It's so hard to be in P2, but they're going to hair down into corner 1. And they're going to keep line astern, so it's all good there. I'm going to go back to the tyre strategy on the left-hand side. We've got Bit up against Geke. He's obviously made a move. Those two are very close to one another. But Smoky Ghost is also going to get past. Oh, Private, that's
Smoky. It. And another safety car's probably on the way, isn't it?
I believe we've got full yellows. Have we got the track map?
No, I think everyone's passed it, so we might be alright.
Nah,
no, we're not. I jinxed it.
Curse.
Oh, we made it 2 corners.
We did, and that is the peril of Azerbaijan, I'm afraid. We got much in the YouTube chat about famous Azerbaijan races. I've got a couple in my head I can think of. If we
I've got a few in my head as well, so if no one's commenting, I expect YouTube to comment.
We'll see, everybody on the race can just rush to pause and tell us all about their favourite memories of Baku. Talk about the circuit and how I've done one track this race around here in career mode, not in the car, and I find that it's it's a point and squirt track, this one, particularly if you think about that first section. It's right hand, off the throttle, turn your car in the right direction, squirt, 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 and it means that the rears go really quickly for me, and once they go, boy, you get a lot of these cars feel dicey. It's like you're driving a go-kart around here. At least I felt that once they're about 30%, the characteristic of your car and the times I could do changed a lot.
Yeah, I think one thing I've learned very quickly about this game is as much as traction is... Oh, hi Sammy.
Hi Sammy.
But as much as I've noticed that in general traction is easier on this game, other aspects of the game make it harder.
Yeah.
Because of the fact of tyre wear. Like, setups have never been more important than they are on this year's game. In terms of stability, they've been important in other games for pace and things like this, but in terms of your car being on a knife edge, one click of a button wrong on your setup and that's it. So, and tyre pressures as well is something I've learned you need to really focus on this game as well. Really focus on your tyre temps at all times.
A lot of the time it's just whack it all the way down, but I do think if you're able to, particularly in the race runs, if you're able to control the wheel spin you're getting out of corners and not burn the rears off too quickly, that's going to be a massive advantage. It's not exactly going about pedal to the metal round here. Once we actually get racing, if you get on those longer stints, you do want to preserve your tyres to go far, far longer if possible. So have we got any classic Azerbaijan races yet, or shall we just pick one from the archive that is my brain?
I think there's actually a lot in Baku, to be honest, isn't there? There's 2021, that's one that springs to mind for several reasons. I won't mention the magic button again because I will upset a lot of people. And then you've got, was it 2016 where you had that little wheel bash between Hamilton and Vettel?
Yeah, I mean that was kind of. Was that Vettel having a go? His brake was that Vettel saying he's brake checked me, or I think it was Vettel who had the wheel dash. If there was
Vettel said that Hamilton brake tested him, so then gave him damage. So then he went alongside and decided to bash Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're looking at moments,
fine, that race into life, to be fair. So I'm not too against it.
It did. I just thought in my head, if you're looking at moments, there were times where people sort of like questioning how mentally strong Vettel was to challenge Hamilton in those seasons, because of course if you want to try and beat Lewis you have to be at the top of your game all the time, particularly when he was in that Mercedes era. That race in particular and the Germany ones were ones where you thought, oh boy, Vettel is being really pushed to the edge with this guy, because that's something that you saw how mild-mannered he was towards the end of career. It just seems so out of character that he would do that, but he was a very different driver when he was in Ferrari and chasing yet another world title at a different manufacturer.
Yeah, Vettel from 2010 to like 2021? No, 2020. He was a menace.
Yeah.
And then from his Aston Martin time, he just turned into the nicest guy in the world. So it's like, he's a driver I always loved, so.
Yeah, I think. But there's something about Aston Martin, isn't there? Because I think Alonso was like villain supreme and the canniest person on the grid, and even though people were starting to warm to him, I think the Aston Martin season, now he's decided to be like nice to his teammate for once, they've reformed him. There must be something in the water at Aston Martin that suddenly makes you instantly likeable. It's not the team boss.
Their opinion though. I think it's going to go downhill very soon. I just feel like that Aston is slowly but surely dropping off now, and Alonso's going to start to get rather frustrated.
Yeah, it depends on if he is allowed to pass Lawrence Stroll and stuff like that. They are not churning in the podiums anymore, are they? They are getting top tens, but they haven't quite been able to keep the pace up.
He broke his promise.
Who did? What's this scandal?
He said he would not be off the podium for the rest of the season, and since then he has not been on the podium.
Oops.
So I need a word with him.
Yeah, that's probably because he's a liar, and not because the performance in the car hasn't been there. I think you're very right.
Yeah, he's just a liar, that's all it is. Nothing about it. But no, Alonso, I've always said this, I think, genuinely, if you give him the same machinery as Hamilton, Verstappen, I believe he would beat both of them. That's just my honest opinion.
Yes, and I think it says something to the man about there are times in careers where you feel people's pace has gone up. Vettel is a good example. As much as we love him, he felt towards the end of his career he didn't quite have it the same as he did at the start. Alonso doesn't seem to have had that dramatic fall off. Every team still wants his services, wants to put them in the car, and then he consistently outperforms his teammate once he's there. So if he starts falling, if suddenly Lance Stroll was beating him, then that would be a different story. We'll be saying it's time to move on. But for the moment, I think we're all very happy that he is still in the sport. We're going to have another lap under the safety car, I feel, because it would have
unless it's going to be a stupidly late call, because the last guy is now caught.
Oh, yes, there we go.
Connor,
all right.
See, Connor says it's safety car in, and safety car comes in. Don't worry, Rob, I've got you.
Now I think you got your finger on the button. I think you're the one causing it, but
I know, I'm Connor Massey for a reason.
Let's go again then. I'm going to stick on board with single track. Look how Donny is weaving. Yeah.
That's what I asked.
There we go. Donny is off and single track is in rapid pursuit, but let's see who's further back. I think that's going to be pretty even, but it's Era Voice and Lorpy. I'm going to keep. There's already a yellow flag out in sector 1 and 2, but I can't see any damage or any cars that have gone round at the back, so we're okay.
Yeah, everyone looks good.
Yeah, there's a yellow in sector 1. I think that might be Johnny Smooth, who's had a bit of an incident at the back there, but the safety car is not out yet. I think he might be having to reverse that thing. Austin Powers style. I'm going to stick on board with Kid Dynamite, who's in 8th position, is lining up a move on Lorpy as we head down into turn 3. A big overtaking opportunity around here, and he gets it done.
Wow. Okay. connection issue for Geke. I'm going to invite him back just to make sure he can get back in. That's a shame because he was running quite well as well. Wasn't he?
I don't think it's a connection issue. I've got Geke as a DNF on my screen, and it's there's a stranded green car down at turn 3. So I don't know if he's just missed his braking point or gone on into the wall, or if there has been contact. But that is now 6 cars out of the race.
Oh my goodness.
Have we reached the maximum number? Is it going to allow us to go racing?
I can assure you we haven't. I can 100% guarantee you we have not.
Yeah.
Just from tier 2 this season. But sector yellow 2, yellow in sector 2. It's error voice.
Oh, let's go back. Oh yeah, no, he's found himself a long way behind, so can't see any damage on that green car. But with no safety cars to catch up, obviously he'll be making the difference. Look at Kid Dynamite and Bergen. He's making the move before the DRS straight there. They're going wheel to wheel. You've really got to get past one of you two guys because it's so difficult. You can't go side by side through this left-right. Donny's out. That's our race leader. And yeah, he's out into the wall. That's the other place you can go. And I was just about to say, 11-lap-old softs, they can't be feeling very nice. And after leading the safety car out for 2 laps, yeah, he has gone into the wall.
Late. Another safety car. Well, I hope we like talking rubbish for that. But no, so also Bergen, Lorpy and Biff all decided to pit. Lorpy pit off his hard tyres though.
Maybe those hards don't feel well. You could go hard, medium, medium. I can't remember if he started on those.
He did, yes.
Yeah, so maybe hard, medium, medium isn't too bad a strategy around here, because you could go hards now and go to the end, maybe. But they are going to feel particularly bad. I don't know if I'd want to be on 40 or 30 something lap old hards. Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. We were seeing a battle there between Bergen and Kid. Those on the 11 lap old softs, that seemed to be about their limit, or at least the mediums were really coming into their own. And it is both. It was the soft runner at the top, Donny, who unfortunately lost it, and then Bergen was losing time against Kid, and the safety car has saved him because it means that he comes out in P10 rather than having to lose all those places and all the way back to the end of the grid. A couple of facts about Baku then. I believe I saw it on YouTube the other day, the YouTube Shorts. It has the fastest speed ever recorded in an F1 car was at Baku.
I'm not surprised, to be honest. With how long that straight is. I think we may break a new one this season, though.
Oh, well, yeah, particularly. Well, do you think with the Red Bulls
Vegas.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge straight, hasn't it? I mean, imagine the Red Bulls with their DRS.
That makes the Baku one look like a baby, to be honest. But, no, I think, yeah, Red Bull... I am looking forward to the day the teams learn about this DRS. Or it just gets... Because... No, I'm not going to go controversial here on the Red Bull talk, because... Actually, I am. That Red Bull, when there's in the rain, is genuinely not, like... And when DRS is disabled, is genuinely not that much faster than the rest.
Yeah.
It's really not.
Ooh, sorry, just saw somebody... Who was that out the back? Was that Biff?
Oh yeah, Biff, yeah, that was it.
Biff at the back having that turn 15 is a nightmare. But I agree with you with the difference here. We need maybe a little bit of weather to produce some slower speeds in that Red Bull. Or, here's another strategy, just put Sergio Perez in it. Doesn't seem very fast then. Or, here we go, I've got my stat about the fastest ever top speed recorded. It was by Valtteri Bottas in 2016 during qualifying. He reached a speed of 378 kilometers an hour. I'm going to see what that is in miles per hour, because that sounds pretty quick to me.
Yeah, very, very quick.
235 odd miles per hour. So, yeah, speedy in a straight line. I believe it was in that Martini, that iconic Martini liveried Williams. If there's somebody who likes 0-1 wings, it's Valtteri Bottas, because he had a speed of 372 during the 2016 Mexican Grand Prix as well.
Yeah, I mean, this track, it never fails with excitement, does it? Let's be completely honest.
I mean, it's failing. It's failing now with loads of safety cars. But no, I do get what you mean. There's always something happening. I think it's because
I'm more meant in real life.
Yeah.
To be honest, I commentated Tier 4 last season when we had 3 finishers, so I definitely didn't mean that. But yeah, no, real life. I think we've had one bad race.
Yeah, I remember
that was this season.
I think there was one season. I remember one previously where there was. When there's no safety cars and everybody plays it super safe, overtaking around here is obviously particularly. I would say it's easy if you've got the, in real life F1, because you'll have it won't be the same as us where we've got the equal car performance. When you've got those cars, you've got much better straight line speed. They'll just wait until they get to that start finish straight. They'll use all their DRS. They'll use all the ERS, burn past. That's it, far too easy, and the race can become a bit of a procession. But yeah, when you get those safety cars, when you bunch up the field and you get different tyre strategies going on, or people caught out, as we have the safety car in this lap, so 13 racers remain, lap 14. Let's see if we can go racing, and it's going to be the turn of single track to be our man to lead out. What do you prefer to do at safety car restart? Would you prefer to lead, or do you want to be the person in second place trying to get a jump on them?
You see, I mean, they both have their pluses, because in the lead you literally get to pick when you go. But being in second, you do get that slipstream, and then you also get the run down to turn 3 as well. So I'd always pick second here, because if you're smart about it, you should be able to get them into turn 3, even with good ERS or just a good X out of 2. That could really line you up perfectly for turn 3. But single track's gone stupidly early here. And that could really leave the problem with Avinash, because Avinash hasn't been doing nothing.
Well, he hasn't, and Avinash on a slightly fresher set of mediums. I don't think, if I get the... Yeah, Avinash hasn't... So, single track hasn't stopped yet. Avinash has. He got very deep into turn 2, but he managed to keep it out of the wall. Gosh, that looked dicey there, but if we got every single car through, I think we have... Try not to curse it at the back, as I think I saw a little bit of wheel tapping. We've got G-Star and Ant going... Thought they were, but it seems to me now we've got 13 cars in the race and most are finding their speed. It's been a fairly sensible first couple of corners so far.
I just realised Kid's just pit.
Yeah, I don't know if he's had damage or he wants to get on an entirely different strategy, or it might be that he's just fed up of getting stuck behind other people and he says, I want clear air, I want to bash in a few laps on these hards, and then I can get a bit of advantage in. If anybody can do it, it's Kid.
Oh yeah, 100. It just seems a strange decision to do it as the safety cars come in, personally.
Yes, yeah, you wonder if he didn't have a choice, we just went too late.
He's coaching from Connor again, that's what it is.
How much are those services? Are they available for free, or is it just...
Oh, you see, well, he can't do pit lane entries, that's his main issue, so I have to teach him that. And then recently I've had to teach him many things. He's a noob, his Kid Dynamite, so it's hard work. So I'm going to start charging.
Oh, there's a car around the back there. That's Lorpy, and that's at that treacherous turn 15. If the outside of that corner won't get you, it will be the inside that got him, because he just hit that sausage curve, bumped it out. Luckily, he's kept it out of the wall, but he was facing the wrong direction. I think he's having a bit of an Austin Powers moment. There we go. We've got the car in the right direction.
Fair play.
Kid Dynamite at one space. Single track with the fastest lap of the race, probably because it's the only racing lap we've had since lap 1. So he is into the lead.
It's crazy to think.
It's pulling away from Avinash. Remember that you don't get DRS until the next lap, so he wants to try and extend that gap to a second. Remember Avinash at the start had a gap of 5 seconds. Oh goodness me. He goes back there.
And then plate lost. Oh, and now he's made contact with Error Voice, but Error Voice is backed out rather sensibly. So, but I'm now really scared every time I see a car side by side with another car because we've had that many safety cars. I'm worried that we're going to lose all the cars before we even get to the end of this race. So
yeah, we've got
big twitch from Avinash.
I think he's really pushing, isn't he, to try and keep up with Martin. He knows that he has to stay in that second range or it's going to be an uphill struggle. But of course, he's going to have the Dutchman, G-Star Snipes, behind him, hunting him down. It's not a great position to be. If you're a Challenger tier driver, you're trying to keep ahead with an Elite tier driver, but you've got another one behind you. You feel a little bit sandwiched, don't you?
the other thing he's got to remember is, though, they're not really his fight. His nearest man that's fighting him is P6. So he hasn't got to worry too much about if G-Star gets past him. He just needs to focus on what's going on behind. But at the minute, Avinash seems to have the pace to keep with single track. Like, he's still right there with him.
Yeah, that gap went up to what I thought was about a second, and then by the time we got through turn 15, it was down to half a second. So if you're seeing some of the differences in setups, where these cars are faster, who's got a particularly skinny setup as well, a lot of people will sacrifice some downforce for a better high speed down this straight, just because you can get so many overtakes done now. But if you look at the intervals on the left hand side, oh, Avinash, yeah, you see Avinash had a faster lap there than single track ahead. I don't know if he's burning a bit more ERS, but yeah, it's crucial for him. And now that flap is open, you will see on that car now that he has got the opportunity, and he's right up the gearbox of single track. Is he going to make the move? He is. He's lining one up. We had Lorpy out the session. Is that going to be a safety car? He's going to bring out another safety car.
That's a full safety
it's car. It's a full safety car. So we nearly had an overtake on track. We nearly had some excitement under DRS, but unfortunately, it's another safety car. 8 cars out. And there comes Bert Mylander again, saying, "Oh,
I've already picked my driver of the day, by the way."
Is it just he drives a red car and he's having a lovely time? None of the rest of us are.
True.
I thought we might get some racing or something interesting, because all those intervals had spread out to about a second. So I wondered if we're going to be out of the DRS train, if people are going to get their heads down, get some solid laps in, but no, unfortunately, is Lorpy out, so our grid is down to 12 places. And hey, if you can stay in this until the end, if you can keep out of trouble, there's the opportunity for some big points, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. Viewers, I have another one for you. How many finishes are we going to have?
Yeah, I'm not going to break it.
Let's play bingo on it.
I've got some emergency questions as well, just in case we need them.
I was going to say that they might be needed, but maybe save a few, because we still got around about 34 laps to go, so yeah. Maybe save some of them.
That's okay. So they're of the quality, like, because I've run out of Azerbaijan talk, so F1 drivers as biscuits. Who do you think, like Lando Norris, is he a Jaffa cake, you know? Orange, everybody loves him.
Yeah.
Soft and cuddly. Yeah.
Yeah. Hamilton's like a Marmite flavoured biscuit.
I'm trying to think, what is the Marmite biscuit? What's the one that people either...
But I can't remember.
There probably is. I can't remember if there is one that people definitively like or hate.
Yeah. Verstappen's like Turkish delight. Yeah,
I think he's strolling out the Roma biscuits here, but I think I get
where you come. It's flavour, but it's also a very nice one to watch and eat. But I mean, Verstappen's good to watch.
Yeah.
Which he is. I don't think anyone could deny that. Even Hamilton fans will say, oh, they probably won't actually. But, yeah, I think he's a Turkish delight.
Yeah. Lance Stroll is like a Viennese whirl. It's like, it's expensive, you don't know why it's really there, you rarely see it. I was
going to say he was like a ginger nut. No one likes it.
Very true.
To be completely honest, that's fair. What I was gonna say.
Brutal.
Albon is like, I'm trying to think of like an underrated biscuit that's in like not considered in the right cat. Like, is
like a custard cream.
Excellent tier. It's excellent tier, but isn't considered excellent tier. If that makes sense.
Maybe a custard cream.
Yeah, custard cream or a bourbon or something.
Yeah, they're like standard, reliable. I want to say Alonso is like a chocolate hobnob because he's robust. Like everybody likes a chocolate hobnob, and they're one of the most like robust, fibrous biscuits that you can have. Yeah. Nobody's going to take a chip off of him.
George Russell is like Oreo. He's just perfect.
He is. You see, I apologise that. Oh, there we go. Martin Hill's in the YouTube chat saying a Viennese wheel does look like a turd, so that's why it's a good match for Lance Stroll.
Good to see him paying good attention on this safety car.
He is. At the start of the race, thinking of F1 drivers as biscuits. We've run out of safety car chat, people. This is it. This is the dregs. So we are hoping, praying that we don't go another 30 laps of this race without another safety car. We want to see racing, and we want enough cars left on the field for it to be a race. In my mind, I'm terrified that we're going to see 5 cars very lonely as they trundle around this track, because it deserves overtaking this track, doesn't it? Because it's when you do see overtakes around here, they're thrilling.
Yeah, they really are. I've just thought of another one. Pierre Gasly's an East biscuit simply because it's French.
Aha,
that's
that's
all Pierre Gasly is, French. So
an Esteban Ocon is some sort of less likeable French biscuit that nobody.
I can't stand Esteban Ocon. So yeah, Leclerc is what's good one. It's like one of those biscuits. It's got to be one of those biscuits where you like it the first time you try it, but then after it's awful because Leclerc's good over one lap, but they're terrible the other time.
It's like it's like a rich tea biscuit. Like you can't you can dunk them, but you can dunk them once and then they're gone. They just melt entirely. Any sort of pressure, and he collapses.
It's like a matchmaker. Ad's just said George Russell like an Oreo. Better when you take the top off.
You see, we're having some good suggestions here from YouTube chat. Please, I mean,
anyway,
keep your eyes on the road, but keep them off.
My question from how many finishes will there be? Mandy says there'll be 8 drivers left. She said, how many safety cars will there be in 100%? I don't even want to think about that, to be honest.
We're not even taking it under consideration.
Says he reckons 6 will finish. But are you including yourself in that? Martin just said Leclerc is whatever biscuits arrive in a broken packet.
Yep.
Don't break my heart. But yeah, no, I think biscuit chat was quite good fun.
That's all right. I was trying to think. Go ahead.
The other day in Tier 4, I was going to do what you just did, but with alcohol.
F1 drivers has alcohol.
Yeah. So I was going to say, I was going to include Nicholas Latifi and be like Heineken because he's the GOAT.
That's one word for him. Nick de Vries is whatever sort of biscuit you just throw in the bin. But we've got safety car in this lap.
The poor Dutch people.
Oh, we have. Maybe we can talk about in the next one about the return of Danny Rick, because I think that news has broken since.
I was going to say, I think but yeah, we'll talk about on the next safety car, because I can almost guarantee that there will be one, so...
Yes. But for now, let's keep our eyes on the thrilling action. We've got single track once again leading this train out. Avinash behind. We'll stay on board with Avinash, and it's all about when you go. I'm very interested in the different techniques that are being used. Donny, when he was up the front, was weaving side to side and would sort of have to pick a time to go. Single track just keeps it straight and narrow, and then he just picks his time to go. Look at that car. Yeah, no, well, I think that was wheel spin. I think he got on the power so much there.
Well, yeah.
Remember, he hasn't pitted yet. Those mediums are 18 laps old, so he's not doing anything. So maybe Avinash, look at him closing up the gap, but it's absolutely fine. He's going to get through there nice and smoothly.
Big switch from Avinash out of 2 by the looks of that, unless it's just lag a little bit, but...
We've got Bergen's
just made a move on Chelsea.
Yeah, that's very nice.
There's a car round. Is there a voice? And Johnny.
Yep, there was contact there. It's so difficult. You can't really go side by side there, or somebody is going to end up in the barrier. And let's have a look and see who was missing their front wing. Yeah, it is. Era Voice has got his, but it's Johnny Smooth who hasn't, so he'll have to make another trip into the pits. Let's have a look at the number of pit stops, in fact. Yeah.
This is one of them races where you could do like an 18-stop race and still probably win.
Yeah, Johnny Smooth 3 stops. Chelsea currently our pit stop leader with 4, so very impressive.
And he's in P6, look at him go.
P6, 4 pit stops after 20 laps. It shows what sort of a mad topsy-turvy race this has been from start to finish. I will go back to the tyre strategies there as well. I think we're going to see Martin's up the front, but I don't think we're going to see him pull away on these 19-lap-old mediums. I think we're going to see a lot of people at the back, particularly maybe Bergen on those fresh mediums, only 7 laps old. He could make some real moves up through this field.
Yeah, he's already right on the back of Anton as well, so I think Bergen is going to be the man to watch here, because, I mean, G-Star's also on the back of Avinash, but Avinash is kind of, like, I know Martin likes a downforce setup, but he looks slightly faster in a straight line than definitely Avinash anyway, so Let's see what's going on. But Bergen's making a move. He's already made it for P4. Adpon's giving it up immediately, and that is that. I think Johnny Smooth is out. Yeah,
Johnny Smooth is out. He couldn't make it back to the pits without a front wing, and it is that turn 15 again, which I haven't talked much about, but it will catch a lot of drivers out.
Thank goodness, no safety car.
No safety car, so maybe they've run out, maybe Bert Mylander had to run to the toilet or something in between, so they haven't been able to bring it out once more. We've got a yellow in sector 1, that's Biff.
I get so scared whenever I see one now, to be honest.
It's Biff in the back there, he's lost his front wing as well, so he'll have to make the long, treacherous drive back to the pits with no downforce, which is a nightmare to do through that castle section, so he'll be cursing his luck there. Only 11 drivers left. So, yeah, particularly when you've got two. And look, sorry, I was on board with him. You just can't drive the car normally when you've got no front wing. The car just understeers like crazy.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of them where now he just needs to sort of drag it back home and just pray.
Yeah. I'm going to stick on board with the battle between 7th and 8th. Chelsea, 14-lap-old Hards. Vic came in last pit stop for a fresh pair of mediums. And he's looking pretty racy now behind that Audi that's looking a bit stranded. You say how much the tyre difference matters around here, and I think you can just tell over one lap. Look at the gap there is between 6th and 7th as well. When DRS does become available, he's going to be a sitting duck. I'm going to move also back up the field to Bergen, who is making a charge. G-Star, 20-lap-old mediums. Bergen on the 8th. And that car seems pretty quick in a straight line as well. Let's see if we're going to get the move done before turn 1. You want to get it done before turn 1 as quickly as possible. He is, but look at that. He's making some ground, but G-Star must be using some of his. He's going to have to brake. He's braked way later. Look at the outbraking he's there. Look at the traction he's got, and it's up into P3. So yellow, that's Biff who is out. I think he's lost it trying to get back to the pits again. So
I think he's lost it in the... Yeah, it's the final two corners. Well, yeah. We're already down to 10 and we're not even at half distance.
Ooh, so on board with G-Star and Bergen. I thought they were going to go side by side into 3, but they are not. They all make it through in one piece. Avinash up into the lead as well, by the way. Don't know if he just missed that, but he's pulling out a gap of at least a second on single track. I wonder if that car has any damage.
Yeah, I've just picked that up.
Can't see any, unless...
Maybe his tyres have just completely gone on him, potentially.
Yeah, it's
but
only...
you wouldn't think they would have, because he's only done, what, probably 6 racing laps on those tyres this entire race, so...
I know, and it's only a difference of 3 laps to him and the car ahead, but he just does seem to have just dropped off entirely, particularly when he's lost that position and not really making it back up on the others. And this is going to open things up for Bergen. We've seen him slice through the field. He's looking very easy for the Purple Heart man.
Yeah, I tell you what, that we have got a very big battle of South Africa for P8 at the moment between Chelsea and Smith.
We have, haven't we? Smith on the softs, Chelsea on the hards.
Yeah, Smith is on those soft tyres are definitely working a lot better at this stage because he's got an insane more amount of grip. So let's see. Chelsea's done 15 laps now on those hards, but I'm guessing he's probably taken them off about 3 times and then put them back on.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm going to stick with Bergen. Kid Dynamite is up past G-Star, so he's on the... This is where the DRS comes into effect. So look at Bergen, he's going on side. Single track just sort of edges him out there. But is he going to go...
taking the lead?
He has, and Avinash is going to be... He was in the lead, but without DRS, he might be down into 3rd place. No, Bergen has to settle for 3rd at the moment. He was the one who lost out there, and this is where he's going to struggle without these DRS trains. Sorry, with these DRS trains forming, it's going to be harder for people to pass. Look, all of them bunched together there as we head out into turn 3.
Yeah.
Smoothly.
I mean, at this point, I think setups are going to play a big part on who can get past who, but we've effectively got literally 6 cars here, all within a tenth of each other, so this is shaping up to be very, very juicy early on.
It is. If you look at drivers like Anton, like G-Star, they haven't pitted very, very early on the hards. They can go a long way into this race. You've got those like Bergen and Kid Dynamite who are much fresher. They could, don't know if the hards can go all the way to the end. I feel there might be one more stop, and they're probably banking on one more safety car before the end of this race. But you've got drivers also like Single Track and G-Star who haven't pitted at all yet. So They need to make a move now or decide when they are going to pit, because they're going to lose 16 to 20 seconds on the rest of this group.
Yeah, I can confirm, by the way, I don't want another safety car.
Same here. We were talking about how racy Bergen was looking, but it's Kid Dynamite actually through that last sector who was all over his gearbox. You can never count him out.
Yeah, Mandy, your prize if you get it right is, if you get your finisher's prediction right, is you get to miss one report in each stewarding. That's your prize. That's for the kindness of my heart. There you go. But Avinash making the move.
He is. We go down into the first corner. We've always got to leave the space on the inside and the outside, and they do. And that's fine, but of course Avinash is now a little bit out of sorts. He's going to have to take the tighter line. Oh, look at them. Kid has got... What a move from Kid. That was up the inside of Bergen, and they're going to bash wheels together. Kid's going to go very wide, but he's through. Oh, it takes such skill to not only get through there, but also for none of them to lose the front wing. Excellent move.
Anton's having a little look at G-Star, but he backs out a bit. But I tell you what, you was right. But I don't know if you saw Bergen on the exit of 2 there, but he was having huge trouble getting on the traction.
He was.
And that's on reasonably fresh mediums as well compared to the others.
Yeah, if your tyre pressures are too high around here, you will feel them go. That's Chelsea, who's lost it at turn 3. He's in the barrier.
He's just gone straight. That may have been something naughty I've just witnessed, potentially.
Ooh. Okay. Well, we might have to bring it up later.
Into that one, but we will see.
Yeah.
But this battle for the lead is actually rather insane because now you've got Carl joining the fray as well.
Yep.
So this is now 7. I mean, to be honest, it's great to see some racing. I've forgotten what racing was, to be honest.
It is.
Driver of the day is still going to be Bert Mylander, that's for sure.
This is what the reverse race around Baku is actually a genius idea, because you've got drivers who, no offence to Avinash, but he's challenger tier. He should be slower than drivers like Kid Dynamite, like Single Track, like Bergen, like G-Star, like Amp, right? Like Bit, who are all behind him. But because of the DRS straight, because of the nature of this track that allows you to have that castle section where it's impossible to pass, he's able to keep these drivers behind with relative ease. And then it's all just a shootout about who's got the skinniest car. He's got that done so early, and I wonder if Avinash is going to get swallowed up by anybody else.
Kid was sensible there. He's playing, I think Kid playing the long game a little bit.
Oh, that's Martin.
Track's just gone super deep into turn 1.
Yeah,
those tyres for Martin are definitely going.
Yeah.
The grip he's got out of each corner, you can see on traction every time he's fighting that car like crazy.
It is. Maybe Kid is going to make them move then. Oh, he does that little thing where he just has a look. Bergen's not very deep. Oh, that was just... I told you it was going to happen at the start of this race, didn't I? I said with DRS, and there's another car around the back. Is that Avinash? Is that Avinash?
Yeah, there was contact between Bergen and Avinash, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So, of course, with Bert Mylander says, I've done all my safety cars for the day, so that's not going to bring out another one. We are down to 9 drivers in this race at halfway distance, but we've still got a race on our hands. That just looked like he put the anchors out and they weren't working, were they? Just rear thrusters, nothing. And there was nothing he could do, and that car slammed into the wall.
Yeah.
But I said that would be the difference around here, didn't I? When the way that the braking points change, if you're braking at 100 every lap, you're suddenly going to have to brake 25, 50 earlier if you're using everything that you've got at your disposal. That is the nature of these new 2023 cars. And it's worked out in the favour of Kid Dynamite and G-Star. G-Star, 24-lap-old mediums, hasn't pitted yet. I wonder if his Avinash is out.
Yeah.
Where's that to?
We're down to 8.
That's.
I think they've actually.
Single track's out.
Oh my goodness! What is going on?
You see where he's gone.
Martin's.
Oh goodness me! Yeah, there. That's half his car's missing. 7 drivers, 25 laps to go.
I am now a little bit concerned.
Well,
and I do mean that genuinely. I am actually a touch concerned at this point. But Anton is serving some kind of penalty in the pit, by the looks of it. What's just happened? A lot has just happened in a very short period of time, and not sure on anything.
So here are my tips, and here's what we've learned from driving cars around Baku on Friday night, because here's where you can make the mistakes, basically, if you're going to have practice for the Monday races. If you get damage around here, drive it like your granny's driving it, right? Get it back to the pits, nurse it back. The amount of cars we've seen with no front wing that have tried to rush back to the pit and then have lost it as a result and DNF'd, I think that maybe at least half our DNFs have been that tonight. So I
think Martin's may have been down just because of where it was as well.
Yeah.
Just down to lack of grip potentially. I'm sure we're going to see from Martin eventually what it was anyway. But
I think the other thing, the other point was going to. Yeah. So wing and his tyres were gone. So these tyres, when they go around here, I think there's no shame in maybe doing a two-stop round here rather than trying to push the one stop, because these tyres towards the end of their life, they seem super treacherous as well. And then one mistake, you saw it from Martin there, with a little less downforce and a little less grip, the car goes. And
I do honestly think we've reached the limit of safety cars, by the way.
We have. Sorry.
I really do think we have, because they should have all been safety cars, to be completely honest. And yeah.
It's just not coming out anymore. So if you're one of the 7 drivers on stream, I'm going to stay on board though with the closest battle at the moment, which is Kid Dino at the front with the 12 lap old hards, G-Star 26 lap old mediums. I think they must feel rotten, but he has pushed them on in the race this far, and he's just trying to throw that lasso around Kid Dynamite. That's what I talk about. Keep in that 1 second delta, and you'll be fine going down the straights. But Kid looks to have the better race car tonight.
Yeah, he definitely. I think I'll be very surprised now if Kid doesn't run away from this, because if you look, G-Star P2 is on 26 lap on, and we've just seen, I said to you, I think a few laps before Martin actually went, his tyres looked completely gone. So G-Stars almost definitely aren't feeling any better at this point. But yeah,
well, I think if we're at the stage in the race now where the safety cars are maybe not coming out as they should do, it's not a bad time for G-Star to get off those mediums and onto a set of hards if he wants to do the one stop, because all those drivers from Bit back to Chelsea, they'll have to pit again on these mediums, I think, and even Kid might have to pit again on those hards. It's a real struggle. You see how wide G-Star's having to take that last corner, indicative of the lack of grip. I wonder if I go on board with him. Yeah, he's doing these corners. How tentative he is in 7th gear. You're not pushing it like you do in quali, you're just trying to keep it out the wall, and I wonder what he's going to do as he goes over to the left hand side. Is this going to be pit stop time? Yes it is, into the pits he goes. We'll see what colour boots he decides to put on, but I imagine it'll be those white rimmed hard tyres.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how much progress he can make from this point, because he's going to be a bit behind, but ultimately he had no real choice but to pit there. But he's got still a good amount of laps to make, you know, a lot of time. He's still got 23 laps to go, so he definitely won't be too disappointed.
He's only come.
I do want to shout out the stewards tonight, because I feel like they're going to have a fairly long night.
We might do. I think we've seen 1 or 2 incidents, but I do think as well a lot are more than you think have been self-inflicted after a bit of damage, like the DNF.
Not having perfect setups yet as well. This is the kind of track where the setup is going to be even more vital than normal, because there's just walls everywhere you look. So
I'm going to stick on board with G-Star, because he's going to be the mover and the shaker. He's on the freshest set of tyres. He's got a bit ahead of him on the softs. Those softs tended to go maybe 10 laps and then look a little bit rotten. He was about a second behind Era Voice, and that gap has gone out to about 2.3. And yeah, you can just see through that castle section. I know G-Star is also quite quick, but he is all up the back end, looking at that gearbox. And to what you do down into turn 15, I've said around here it's one of the trickiest corner circuit. We'll go on board. Look at him braking so early at that brake board. You want to take it wide, hook it in, avoid the sausage curve on the left hand side. And now this bit is all about getting the run. You want to get on the power as quickly as possible, but when you're in this situation where you know the car in front of you is slower, you don't want to go into the back of them before it's time. And I think he'll just be taking his time. Oh, gets very close to the wall there, has to back out, but I don't think it's going to matter.
No, it's really not. But let's see, because G-Star is, he's going to be a sitting duck now. It's just about how quickly can G-Star get onto the back of Mr. Era Voice, who we know is no slouch in any way.
Yeah, correct. We get to see a real difference in the delta, the times between sort of at 16 laps. We'd say just over half the life of the medium tyre compared to those very fresh hards. I think they'll be about comparable, and if not, I think G-Star is going to be making inroads. I think it was about 2.5, and now it's down to 1.4. Pitting for a fresh set really works out at the moment. I know he was only in second place. It looks like he's going to get that second place in no time at all.
I think one thing we've learned from today's race is, though, like, the zero downforce doesn't work.
Yes.
I think because the amount of times you see people sliding out of corners and maybe missing their brake, like, don't forget you have to brake 25 to 30 metres earlier if you've got less wing as well. So, Era Voices. I don't know if he's got away with damage there, but I think he might be alright. But yeah, again, I think especially when you've got zero downforce as well and you've got dead tyres, that's becoming even more of a problem. Sorry to cut you off, by the way, but I think it's just something worth mentioning live on air.
No, I think it's a very good idea, and it was one of my gripes about the last game actually, where I felt that it was too easy for drivers to pick a 0-1 wing setup or whatever and just drive with it. That's fine, but if you could make it work, and there were some people who were clearly very skilled at making it work.
Somehow did. I don't know how.
Yeah, like around Miami and stuff, it was a good tactic, because if he could navigate that sector and not get past, he could just overtake people on the long straight. Sorry, that was Era Voice going into the pits. I wondered why Ant went straight on an Era Voice turn. But thank goodness it was just because he comes to pits. Is he going to give any damage here? No, just a fresh set of boots. He's onto the hard tyre as well. These mediums don't seem to be a great race tyre, do they? They go for about 15 laps and people get fed up with them. So I wonder if people are going to go for the consistent feel of the hard tyre. Just so you can get those sort of like consistent braking points in, because it will be longer until they fall off.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah.
I mean, at this point, I think, we've got 20 laps to go. These guys now just know, alright, we're guaranteed big points from this race. Like, Smith and Chelsea are getting 25 and 18 points. The rest of that tier are scoring 0.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, tonight is the night.
Smith is now a title contender, and so is Chelsea.
Yeah,
and then you've got, like, obviously Kid Dynamite still going. He knows his two main, obviously Saviour. I hope we see him back, of course. And then you've got, obviously, G-Star's still in. He's one of the main guys, and then Chris, who is on a beach in Benidorm. So these guys will come back, but Kid is also making a huge gain. He just knows now, bring this car home, and I'm in a very good position for big points over my main rivals here.
Yeah.
So, and do you know who else is really gaining out of today? Mr. Edens. He started the day P4 in the championship. Bear in mind, him and Kid were on the back row. Now look at where Carlos.
Yeah, P2's been an excellent drive from him, and hey, like, if anybody was going to get through this race clean, it was going to be Carl. He's a very canny driver and knows when to put his nose in the situation and when not to. I'm just looking at the pass on track. Ant was looking for the pass on Smith, doesn't do it. But now, when you're in this sort of race where survival is key, I think you can be a lot more sensible about when you choose to pass. He knows that Smith is on very old, soft tyres. He knows there's going to be no rush. He's going to get the opportunity. And yes, as we head down into turn 3, look at that. He's got it done so early, and those are the type of overtakes that look so easy. That's what he's up to. He's up into P4, and it is also P4 in the elite tier as well. He's got some ground to make up.
Yeah, Bergen's just apologised for his little braking mishap in the contact with Avinash. So good to see when drivers do accept, blame for an incident. It makes everyone's life a little bit easier, and it's also good to see drivers able to take accountability for maybe a mistake they made or something.
Oh yeah, precisely. I think that's the point as well. You'll have seen it in my stewards footage on the day. When you're going through it in the heat of the moment, you'll say some dumb stuff.
It was funny.
You'll say some really stupid things when you're doing it because you're going in your mind and you think it's going to work one way. You think a driver's going to act like an AI driver because that's what you're used to, and then you look back at it, or you look back at it a day later and you think, "Oh, what an idiot I was for even thinking that was the case." Oh, a bit of Smith into the barriers at turn 15 at the back. I do wonder if he's picked up a little bit of damage on that car. Nothing showing, but that doesn't mean that it's not happened on this game, unfortunately. But he seems to have all his end plates in check.
Yeah. But talking about your incidents thing that you were saying, for me it's like, I go, oh, I've left him an absolute acre on the inside. I go and check the footage and I go, okay.
Yeah. Precisely.
Maybe there was nothing. Maybe I just completely misread the situation and just took him out, to be honest. But and then you kind of, but then it's not until after you made a report, made yourself look like an absolute idiot in front of the stewards, and then you go, oh wait.
Precisely.
I meant that.
I'm going to sound like an idiot here, but it is things like where it all goes so fast, and I know that sounds simple, but it is really, really quick sometimes when you are going through, and you realise just the slightest twitch on the steering wheel can damn you, and it was only, you did it, your brain had a little brain fart moment, just a little problem where you went, oh no, made the mistake, but it can have catastrophic effects. So yeah, well done to the people who can be very consistent and make sure that they drive smoothly all the time round, because that's what to be demanded from these drivers. You have about 20 laps of this race left. Oh, look at Kid Dynamite there. I don't know if that was lag, but he's starting to look a little bit twitchy on those hards. These rears they're all going, aren't they? And they're causing trouble.
The thing is, he's got, I'm not sure, I mean, you're the Mr. Encyclopedia out of us two, that's for sure. But I'm not sure how long the pit lane is here, but if he came out now, I'm pretty sure he still wouldn't be a mile, like many seconds behind G-Star, so...
No, so the official stats I've got in front of me say the time in the pits at Baku is around about 16.5, and I think it is a particularly quick pit lane because you've got that very quick entrance.
So that gap is currently 17-ish. No, 16. So he'd come out about half a second behind G-Star if he was to hit now. I know Kid's listening as well, so don't use me as a race engineer. You use me as a coach enough as it is. So. I think you want the standard 20 seconds is probably safer. Like I'm just reading online that that's 16.5, but it might be a little bit longer. But we've seen particularly how beneficial it is to put a fresh pair of tyres on. You will be sitting that, like, if he was to go on the mediums in 5 laps time compared to G-Star on the hards, that might be the one where he could make a move on G-Star very early. He wouldn't have lost all the time and then be quite safe into the end. It's one of those, isn't it, where you go, do I pit now and commit myself to this strategy and pray there's not another safety car, because if I get the laps in, don't go for track position but get the clean laps in, I can definitely overtake G-Star with loads of time to spare? Or do I just hang it out there for as long as possible? Do I give track position? Do I say, oh, the gap between me and second place is still 14 seconds, I'm not going to give that up. Like, as long as I'm in the lead and these tyres are fine, I'll stay out there. I think it is a little bit of a conundrum for him up top. Yeah, it's one of them where he's like, look, I don't want to go too far in case my tyre just completely gives up on me. I mean, we've just seen the effects with Martin, for example, where the tyres just go, and then I know he had weird wing damage to contribute to it, but I mean, for 3 or 4 laps before, we saw Martin losing it on exits and making very uncharacteristic mistakes.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing, then realise, okay, and when the tyres go on this game, that's that. There's no... Even with the, like, you get a graining phase, but the tyre still never fully comes back after the graining phase, so...
And look at the tyre difference now. We've got G-Star who's putting a purple lap on those hards.
He's now fighting with Carl.
He is. He's made up so much time. And yeah, he is up in. We were saying that gap was around about 16 seconds. We thought that Kid would come out just behind Bit. Now he would definitely come out, back behind G-Star as well. Who's made a really good effort. That pit stop benefiting him a lot. He's on the one-stop strategy. Bit's currently also only had 1 stop. But I think he'll definitely be in the pits again because those mediums are not going to make it to the end.
Yeah, they're definitely not. It's all a bit of a... It's a bit of a game of chess at this point, because Kid's now going to have seen, okay, G-Star's now in P2. G-Star's also taken about, I think it's 0.8 of a second in one sector out of Kid here. So Kid's probably thinking, look, maybe this lap is the lap he comes in, takes the fact that he's a second behind. It'll be about a second. Alright, let's say no more than 5 seconds behind G-Star, but he'll have a brand new, fresh set of mediums, and you would think probably make that time back up. So the one thing he doesn't want to do is make sure he gets stuck behind Cole. He doesn't need any sort of traffic.
Yeah, correct. He wants to sort of wait until maybe Carl pits. He maybe go 1 or 2 laps more, but these mediums are good for about 15 laps, so that would be about lap 35, 36. He's looking to pit. I'm just going to keep an eye on the time in the top right-hand corner of your screen there. Let's see what lap time Kid is doing. That's going to be across the line with a 1:47.9, so about 1:48, let's say. Be on board with G-Star, whose tyres are 14 laps younger. What's the sort of time he is making up on Kid Dynamite per lap? But remember that Kid is very quick. It's a 1:48 for Kid, 1:46 for G-Star. That's a difference of about 1.5 seconds. So
yeah,
I
want to point out that Kid is currently 2 seconds off his own fastest lap at the minute. He's lapping 2 seconds slower than he was at the start of this stint.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone straight on! He's hit the wall, he's lost his wing!
He has, and you see, that's what we were saying, wasn't it? Oh, Chelsea's out as well!
Oh, his wing is now completely gone for Kid.
Yeah. We were talking about when it was the time to pit and when to come in and when those tyres would go. It looks like they have now. And maybe the race has just fallen into the lap of G-Star. In the Challenger tier, Chelsea's had a moment, and now Smith is our de facto Challenger tier leader. He's the only one left on track. He just needs to bring it home for the race.
Challenger tiers retire. What happens then? Does this race become null and void for them?
I don't know. Smith. I don't know if there was. No, Smith's coming to the pits as well. He's on 2 fresh mediums, I would say. Let's see if he has any wing damage. Is he just trying to clear up his car? Yes, there's a new front wing going on that car. So he said, I'm going to survive, and the best way for me to survive is a new piece of carbon fibre. Another pair of mediums go on that are 6 laps older than the ones that he took off. So, yeah. Remember, you've just got the 2 set of boots in the garage, and after...
How is Kid driving this car with any sort of pace?
I don't know. It's 5 stops for Smith. Yeah, Kid is still in the lead just about, but I think he's going to have to concede it.
He's honestly carrying so much pace in these corners. I'm sat there thinking, I can't even do that with a full front wing, let alone no front wing.
He's going to be really slow through here. This is where Martin, this is where so many people have lost it with their front wing. He's going to have to believe enough space. Yes, he does. G-Star. Well, he's going to have some straight line speeders, Kid, but yeah, he's going into the pits, and now it is the Dutchman who leads the race, kept his nose clean. The 1 stop he's done, and it's that consistency that's really paying off for him. Bit as well, up into 2nd place. That will have worked out well for him. You said he was only in 4th position, and look at that, adorned as the personal sticker on Carl's car. A mantra for everyone to listen to tonight. First you have to finish, said by the great man himself, Michael Schumacher, and he's taking that message to heart tonight.
Yeah, I don't think there's any truer saying than there is in this MRCX race, to be honest. Literally, if you finish, I mean, look at Smith. He's going to gain 25 points on every tier 3 and 4 driver we have in this league.
Yeah.
No matter how you look at it, that's how it is. So, all of a sudden, Smith's probably got, I think Smith started the day on 0 points. Which means he's now, let's have a look at the challenger. Let's see if he wins this, where exactly he gets promoted to in the challenge. Because this is what finishing does to you, particularly in MRCX. So, at the start of the day, Smith will now jump up to P5 in the championship, and will be just 20 points off the lead.
That's very impressive, isn't it? There's because I'm a millennial man of a certain age, all of these things I think through the guise of The Simpsons season 2 to 10. There's a great quote where Barney is going to become an astronaut, but he takes some booze and he's disqualified, which means that Homer gets to be the astronaut instead of him. And Homer just says the 2 sweetest words in the English language: default, default, default. Yeah. And Smith is going to win by default tonight as long as he can keep that car out the wall. It's not over yet. We've seen Chelsea was just trundling around at the back and he lost it as well. So there's still, there's still tension in this race. You've still got to bring it home. I mentioned that 1997 race.
There is one thing that has slightly surprised me, though, the fact that Kid's gone for softs. Carl's also just taken this opportunity to pit. Do you know what? He might actually come up just in front of Kid.
He might do,
There
and
is a possibility. No,
he's put
not.
on
Okay.
he's put on a pair of softs as well. So people clearly think that you can get those softs about 15 laps, and they'd rather try that than the mediums. I do wonder as well if how many stops have people had now? There's a lot. So yeah, no, Bits had 2, Kids had 3. You've only got 2 sets of mediums, remember? So I wonder if Kid had gone medium, or no, he's been on the hards, hasn't he? So I don't know if people are thinking if they've got enough medium tyres to get them to the end. But no, it's a pair of softs for Kid and Bit, and they have to make up time now, don't they? Or else they're going to be out of this race. They're going to have to spend the tyre while they can, because they're going to be a bit bad towards the end of this race.
I think tonight is a prime example of why it's a great idea to have MRCX on a Friday. I mean, as much as there's been difficulties with all the safety cars and the incidents and things like this, I mean, hopefully it's a learning curve for people more than anything with, like, in terms of setup.
Oh, yeah, totally. I think setup in terms of...
They can now realise, okay, I've gone the wrong way here, my car wasn't turning, or it was twitching too much, or whatever. Maybe they can sort of investigate into why they DNF'd and use this as the learning curve rather than being angry and, you know, look at it as a positive in some way rather than a negative, but obviously it's frustrating nonetheless.
And I think it shows that it's a race that demands practice, and that you take, you know, if you're the type of person who, you know, goes into practice and does like 3 laps on the hards and goes, yeah, no, they're rubbish, I'm fine, I've got a feel of the hards. No, take them deep, take them long if you can. Feel how they change between laps 5 to 10 and then 10 to 20, because it was on lap 20 that's what caught Kid Dynamite out, though he's absolutely flying now with a 1:44.5. He was going 3.5 seconds slower on those 20 lap old hards a couple of laps ago. So yeah, that is the difference. That's the difference in when you're braking, when you're turning in, how much traction you've got down the straights. You need to get used to those changes, because if you don't, we've seen it a lot of times, you'll just go straight on and into a wall. This track is incredibly unforgiving.
I've just seen Martin put in YouTube chat, Chris is on a Hindu wearing pink leg warmers and a tutus with a sash that says easy.
He's living it large, isn't he? I think he made a good decision. If there's one race to miss this season, it's probably not bad, because there's not many other people making up ground on him.
But at the same time, it's also a race where he could have literally created a very mammoth-sized gap.
Yeah,
so
if he kept out of trouble.
He's sort of lost, but at the same time, sort of gained. Like, obviously, we know how hard G-Star pushed him as well last season, as well as Saviour, of course. But G-Star was also right there until the final day with those guys as well, so...
Yeah, and we mentioned at the start of the show when we weren't broadcasting, so you've heard this, but I'll repeat it again, but you know, we are very sorry to lose Saviour. Obviously, he was a formidable champion in MRCX. You don't get to be a 4-time champion without being very quick and very clean racing driver, and I compared it to sort of the situation where Schumacher was suddenly left incapacitated halfway through one of the F1 seasons, and it was up to other drivers to step up. I do wonder who's going to be our Eddie Irvine or Mika Hakkinen, where we're going to have our new battles in MRCX. I mean, Chris will be thinking that now's his time, but there's still a lot of very quick drivers in this tier, most notably people like G-Star and like Kid, who are right at the top of this race, and Kid's just put another quick lap in there. All consistently being in the 144s, he's hunting down Ant, and he wants that second place. He'll want to make up for his mistakes.
I think MRCX has been like the birthplace of the main rivalries in this league. Like, every single elite tier championship since the return of MRCX in season 6, I want to say, every single elite tier championship has gone to the final round. Which, when you compare that to tier 1, 2, 3 and 4, that's kind of a crazy stat.
It is,
because,
yeah.
Like, most of them, for example, last season, I won the penultimate round, Avanash won penultimate round, I think Eugenie won with 2 to go, and Mark won on the final round. It's usually over a 13 race season you see them done quite early, you know, but in X it was 1 point separating them into the final race, and the race finished 1100s from each other. That's how ludicrous it was.
Yeah, it was absolutely mad race. We do have one race on our hands at the moment. Kid has caught up to the back of Ant's car. Remember, he is on the softs and been absolutely flying, so this is his first challenge. Get past this one, and then it's how much time can he eat into the Dutchman up ahead on those hards. Those hards are probably fine for now, and I think we know that they will make it to the end of the race. It might be tentative. Kid is going side by side, and maybe a little bit early, but we'll see that flap open, and it should be so easy for him now to just dash past that car, and yet they're very, very sensible. They take it in turns, and as long as he can pick his braking point now, as he does, that's nicely done. Smooth, he is up into P2, so one more car to hunt down for the Englishman, and it is the Dutchman of G-Star Snipes.
The only thing now is, though, 16 seconds in 11 laps. It's a big, big ask, especially with how quick those softs go off. But if anyone can do it, Kid Dynamite can.
It can.
So,
yeah, let's keep an eye on that gap and that delta. Let's go on board with G-Star, and we'll have a look at the speed that he's at as we go through these sectors. We'll just keep a note on the time. He's on 12 lap old hards, so for reference, Kid, when he was on about 20 lap old hards, was doing about 1 minute 48. Let's see how much time G-Star has, or how comparable that is on these hards that should be into their grading phase now. They should be nicely warmed up and feeling okay. So I always get the willies as they go through turn 15. That is so treacherous. That's the one where I always worry I'm going to lose a bit of front wing.
Yeah, it's also really harsh on traction. Like, you don't expect it to be, but it is. So.
It's maybe the worst corner in Formula 1, or at least the one where I feel that everything is awful about it. Big sausage curl on the inside, danger on the right, it's off camber, your braking point's sort of funny and not in a straight line. It's a nightmare. So let's see, G-Star Snipes across the line with a 146.7, so 1.3 seconds faster than Kid Dynamite was, but remember his tyres were 7 laps old. It was a 146.57. Kid Dynamite was across the line.
Just done a 44.2.
Oh no!
So
but
at this rate, Carl's out.
Carl is out.
Can you imagine a safety car now?
It would be absolute chaos. I don't think it's going to come out.
I wouldn't mind one right now, if I'm being honest. It brings the 5 cars that are left all together, but I don't think. I think we have reached a game limit of safety cars here.
Yeah, I'm going to see where Carl went. Carl sort of went here is where the game said, sort of on the left-hand side, so I wonder if it is just that treacherous left-right. It can catch you out, the difference of tyres, but
which is quite surprising. But
yeah. So we are down to 5 finishers now. What's our record? Did you say it was
3?
3. Okay, so
yeah, tier 4 in season 9. We had 3 finishers, and I was on comms for it. Luckily, that was only a 50% and not 100%. But yeah, Baku. And do you know what? The worst bit is that was at Baku.
Yeah, I mean, this track just eats up cars, and one mistake and you are out. I think it is worse than Monaco just because of the speeds as well. Like at Monaco, you make a mistake, you'll lose a bit of front wing, but you can get it back to the pits. At Baku, you lose your entire suspension.
Yeah, do you remember last game when you had that glitch at the final corner where if you got too close to the wall, it just threw you in the air?
Yes.
I saw that. I'm not going to lie, it was entertaining to see, but yeah, it was right where Kid's just gone past now. It just threw you into the air and you could do absolutely nothing about it. Apparently you ended up in a Minecraft realm straight after, so yeah. But
thankfully Codemasters have coded a perfect game this year. No glitches, we're all sure of that. No?
We all saw Australia last week.
We did. Down under, can't do formation laps. Well, you got a formation lap in tonight, one of the cleanest laps of racing we've had so far. As a matter of fact, nobody retired on that one, but it's been a race of attrition now, and we are going into our final 10 laps. Kid is still going to have to make up at least over a second a lap if he wants to catch up to G-Star, but he is still banging in the lap times, isn't he? These softs don't look like they are falling off yet, but it is only a matter of time.
Yeah, for sure. I think I mean, Kid is probably absolutely. He's definitely kicking himself over that missed braking. He almost had no pressure at that point, didn't he? To be honest, he was kind of just there, managing the race. I know his tyres were getting on a little bit, but
well, we were sort of discussing, was it time to pit in? Because I thought it would be a bit long to go all the way to the end, and if he was going to make a move, it would have been that lap or the next one, maybe push it to 36 as it was.
I would also say, in the grand scheme of things, on your point, when you look at the fact that Martin did, what, 26, and his medium seemed to go around about lap 22, Kid had only done 23 laps on the hards.
That's right,
So
but
in
I think...
respect, it's like,
Yeah, it was a missed breaking point for sure, but also you've got to remember those 26 lap old mediums did how many laps under the safety car?
That is also very true. Kid did about 2 under the safety car, so yeah, no, that's a very valid point as well.
So, lots of different lessons to learn from this race. That gap coming down, Tid Gaumet with another 144, G-Star and about the 146s last time, so yeah, 1.5 seconds a lap. It's what he needs. He needs to keep it consistent though. I think this is going to be fascinating. I want the Amazon little, what lap he's going to catch him on, or if it's going to happen. I wonder when we're going to see that gap stabilise.
I don't think at the minute he's taking enough out of them each lap. And John, I know a little secret from down under currently. Kid Dynamite is using his ERS like crazy. Well, G-Star sat there 60% of his battery, so G-Star still has a lot in hand as well.
That's very smart from the Dutchman at the top. He knows that if he's caught, he's going to get caught down a straight, and that's when he wants to spend it. And if you can have enough to spend it on 1-2 laps, because it might come down to the last 2 laps, this, with the rate that Kid is catching. If you've got that extra weapon in your pocket, it could be the difference between first and second. A question for you here, strategy-wise. So if you're Ant, you're on 17 lap old mediums. I don't know if those can go to the end and feel very nice. You've got a 44-second gap to Era Voice at the back. Do you pit now? Do you get on a fresh pair of mediums or a fresh pair of softs? Almost certainly go to the end now, or do you stick it out and say, hey, I'm going to hope for chaos up the top and that I can cash in if there is a little moment from G-Star offered?
I think after what we've seen, particularly with the mediums tyre wear, it probably is he's in the nicest way possible. He's probably not going to finish higher than second at this point now. That could be Connor Curse on another level, and if it is, you owe me big time. But he's more than likely not going to. So maybe pitting. I know he listens to the stream as well, so maybe pitting would actually, it means you can have a bit of fun. Obviously, you don't get a point for fastest lap in MRCX, but you can still. At least he'll feel pretty good. And you had a flag.
That's G-Star.
No, is that G-Star? Oh my goodness, it is G-Star. He's just done a Kid Dynamite. And now look at the gap.
Yeah, the gap. I was about to say that the gap was sort of stabilising around about, it was only taking a second out. And I wondered if we were going to get a race at the end. But once again, it's turn number 3, breaking point. It's caught Bergen out, it's caught Kid Dynamite out, and now it's caught G-Star out. You cannot underestimate that corner and how early you have to brake. And now, we've got suddenly a race in our hands, haven't we? Because, Kid is going to be all over the back. He's going to want to get within a second, and is he going to do it through this castle section? He's going to have so much more time. Era Voice into the pits on those hards.
I think he was listening to our advice, just the advice we gave Ant, I think he took himself, because he's got that much of a big gap to Smith at the minute. But like we said, Smith does not care in the slightest. He couldn't care what these guys are doing. He's won what he needs to win.
Yeah, precisely. It's a lonely race, but one, just putting in the practice laps. But now look at that gap.
He's probably having a beer already, sat on pause, thinking, "Look, I am the race winner. That way I can't crash as well." But no, don't listen to me. Here comes Kid though.
Here we go, 0.6, and remember he's going to have the DRS. The flap opens around about now. There it is. And I wonder if G-Star is starting to spend. You said he had some ERS in the bank. If he's using it. Kid is still gaining. He's not. Okay, so
he may be saving it for the turn 3, for the exit of turn 2. He used a little splodge out the exit of turn. I don't know what number it is, but the final braking zone of the lap, and he used a little bit on the exit. But he's still not even using it barely at all down here. So at the minute, I think G-Star feels fairly comfortable.
Yeah, he does. And remember, now, those are the sort of 2 big overtaking opportunities. Kid is going to be stuck behind the 17-lap-old hard runner. Those 9-lap-old softs aren't going to feel very nice. And he's got to go, 6, 7 more laps on those. I still feel that they are going to get a bit rotten towards the end. He's not making the time up, is he, through this middle sector that I thought he would. I thought he would have a little extra grip, but he's looking very twitchy. Look at that back end. Oh, my goodness me, Smith!
No way.
That's it. We've got a car stranded just after the castle section. Charles Leclerc moment. He'll be feeling a wee bit silly. And that, ladies and gentlemen, leaves us with 4 cars, all elite. That would be 0 points for the Challenger tier tonight, I'm afraid.
We pretty much just null and voided the Challenger tier race.
We have. He might as well not have turned up tonight. So now we've got one race up the front, but I do wonder, Kid is sort of, it looks like a battle for him to stay within that 1 second, and is he going to even have DRS as we go down this straight? He's sort of hovered in and around it. When was the detection zone? No, he's missed it. So look at that. Those softs, they've gone. And they're at least comparable to the hards. 147.5 those softs now. He's doing 144s. And even when he's chasing the car in the dirty air, he's down 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, this was a point I was going to make, actually. When I saw Kid turn up, I said, because we pretty much noticed, I think, between us that the softs go off around about lap 10. And all of a sudden, because you even saw before G-Star's little moment, Kid wasn't making the inroads he was on the laps before, was he? So all of a sudden now, but look at G-Star, he's just had a big twitch, which now could open up a little opportunity for Kid if he can stick with him through the middle sector. Yeah,
I think the one benefit that Kid's got is it's not like G-Star is on fresh tyres ahead of him either. Those hards are going off. We've seen one mistake from him already. So now it's just all about keeping the pressure on it, making sure that you're not the car to make a mistake. And goodness me, both of these guys could make a mistake, and we could be looking at Ant on 20 lap old medium tyres going through as a winner. All results, I think, are still on the table around here. It's going right to the end, this one, so I would not turn away. And yeah, look at that. Kid now just 0.4 behind. He was gone one lap, back another.
Yeah. It's one of them for Kid where he's just like, do I need to take the risk kind of thing? But if he can win it, I'm sure he will go for it.
Oh, he will make the move if he can. And I wonder if it's just sort of now, do you play that psychological game of when do I spend my ERS? When do I not? Do I want to keep it to stay within the car in front? Or do I trust that they will lose a bit more time? They've still got to do what with lap 47, so that means 47. 5 laps, the last 5 laps of the race. This is just a 5-lapper now, boys. It's a 5-lapper with some absolutely horrible tyres, but you just need to keep out the walls.
4 drivers.
Precisely. Real open lobby vibes here in the MRCX.
Please don't drive like it. We've seen it. I think we've seen enough for one day, to be honest.
Yeah.
But let's all just... Oh my god, G-Star's gone straight on again.
Oh no! That was it. I was on board with Kid Dynamite, and he just turned, and G-Star didn't. And goodness, those hards don't seem to be able to go 20 laps, and it's fallen into the lap of the British driver. Remember, he started this race in P20 back of the grid, and after 47 laps, he's made his way up to the front with 7 to spare. I'm just going to have a look at G-Star. Once again, it doesn't look like he's lost an end plate or anything, so if there is damage, it will be very, very minor.
He did miss the wall. He just went straight on, down the runoff area. But I do wonder if some of this is not actually down to the tyres. I think people maybe are trialling setups here. They're not working, and that's what's causing the issue potentially.
That as well, and you've got to remember that we were talking about G-Star and Kid there. It's all about pressure, isn't it? I said it was one of these guys makes a mistake and the other will capitalise. And you got a man like Kid behind you applying the pressure over and over again. But gosh, that gap was Kid has slowed loads there. He's had a moment as well.
Trying to make this interesting for us potentially.
I don't know.
You know what Kid's like? He likes a little. Unless he's. Was there contact we didn't see? Is he trying to give the place back?
I don't know. It didn't look like contact. It did just look like G-Star went on, but he is really slow, doesn't he?
He's literally let him go.
Yeah, he has.
Run out of fuel. No, he can't have. There's been that many safety cars. That's impossible, surely.
No, I think Kid says, look, I owe it to the people at home. They're going to be here 51 laps. We want a race. He doesn't want to win the race in that manner, so good on him. So we are going to go racing again.
Whatever happens again, we're just going to have a slow Kid Dynamite for a lap again. But
I'm going to stick on board with... I went on Ant there. So G-Star, let's see, he makes the corner that time, but I think it's a battle of wills, and it's a battle between the tyres and the car. Late race driving, sort of heavy fuel. Well, there's no heavy fuel, is it? It's light fuel, but lots of wear on these tyres, proving very, very challenging for even our most elite.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm so used to seeing G-Star turn up in MRCX, and he's almost a different animal when he comes to MRCX. Tier 1, he's always there or thereabouts, but in MRCX he seems to step up his game. Or he at least has a better setup than a lot of other people do, usually, by the time they get to MRCX. And he's one of... When you think of the people who are always at the top, he's always there. I think he's one of the drivers who's pretty much since the restart maybe raced every single race of MRCX. Maybe missed the odd one here or there.
Yeah, I think he's almost one like Bailey, isn't it, where you put a pin in it and said, yeah, I want this championship. This is the one that I'm really going for this year. And he'll want this win desperately. As Kid gave that place back, remember, but he is struggling to keep up.
He is. I bet he regrets it now, because those softs probably haven't got the pace he needs right now. But, Genie, we are on 2 laps to go. Should we try and remember some of the liveries and have a bit of a livery chat and livery of the day? Because I've got to try and remember what liveries are listed now, because we haven't seen a lot of them in about 30 to 40 laps.
No, there's not. We had a lot of chat during the safety car. We went through all of them. I think sort of hats off to Avinash and Martin for their Azerbaijan-themed liveries.
Same thing, yeah, they both look really good.
Yeah.
I think it's... do you know what? I'm going to go for one that's very outside the box that I really like J.D. Don's. That green and pink with the white on it as well. That was... It was the shade of green as well, was really nice.
Yeah, I agree.
Martin and Avinash definitely for a shout out for the smartness of the Azerbaijan flag on their car.
Yes. As we've got Kid who is just going through the sector, it's so hard to overtake, so I will just go into the YouTube chat as well. We've got an exclusive post-race interview with Smith, who was leading that and unfortunately left it out. He said that he's gutted. He was just too eager on the throttle, and I think we're going to see a lot of that through our Azerbaijan races this week. It's the rear that goes. I've been saying it all race, and it will spear you off into a wall, and clearly that's what happened to him tonight. He'll have been so close to his first race win, but wasn't to be.
If you want to see an expert in losing front wings, tune in on Monday at 7 o'clock and watch the McLarens on board for an entire race. I'm sure that in MRC we're going to say where's Sky, where you can watch all 20 drivers.
Yeah, precisely. But we'll have to set up an MRCQ channel or whatever it is, where you can get all.
We're just going to have to stream ourselves.
Correct.
And
yeah.
That's your added versions. You also get all the audio every time I hit the wall.
Oh goodness, I don't want my audio broadcast to the world. Thank you very much. Look at Kid at the moment, 0.2 behind. He's really bringing this race down. We've been to the last 2 laps now. It's going to go down to the wire. If he's going to make a move, it has to be either this lap or the next.
He's been teasing us, hasn't he?
He has.
That's what he's been doing.
I wonder, is he going to do it? G-Star moves to the inside, so he's got to keep his line or move back to the outside now. Kid is trying to... I've got no words coming out because I was really worried he was going to go into the back.
Done.
What's he done?
He's recharged his ERS, that's why he's been so slow for laps. He had nothing.
Right.
Now, he's the one with all the ERS. G-Star's still got a bit, but he hasn't got as much as Kid, let's put it that way.
No, and it's going to be so interesting.
Finally picked the soft, by the way.
Yes, I think those mediums were struggling towards the end, and he said that, no, I'm not going to get the race win, so I'll go for the softs. Maybe fastest lap, no fastest lap point, unfortunately, for MRCX, but it'd be a safer way to go home. But for the moment, Kid has 3 chances, I reckon, to win this race. One down the back straight, another between turns 2 and 3, and if he's still behind, then he's going to have one more opportunity, and I wonder when he's going to make his move, because this is the thinking part now, isn't it? This is where do I get the DRS? Where do I spend my ERS?
This is who's now got the better bottle at this stage of the race.
He's got such a good exit out that last corner. Look at the gap now between those two.
Please don't come together. Just please, I can't deal with that. Imagine they do and then Anton just wins. No, don't do it, please.
No,
thank you.
They're side by side. We're herring down, and Kid is going to make that move very, very early. So that DRS, the detection zone, remember, it's only going to last for now. We've got another DRS detection zone before turn 2.
Come back at him.
Yeah, precisely.
On the run down to turn 3. So that will leave, if he does manage to get Kid back, it's all about the exit here from G-Star.
Yeah, I'll go on board with G-Star.
Oh, switch from Kid though! This could open up the chance. I don't think he's quite got the straight line speed. Oh, he might do, he is closing.
No, he backed off. He went for the move and then just thought better about it. So, as I said, unless Kid makes a mistake through the castle section, I reckon that G-Star is going to have one more chance. Look at the little twitch there from Kid. These tyres are on the edge. These cars are on the edge. These drivers are on the edge. Think how long they've gone wheel to wheel now. 5 laps, 10 laps until the end. We thought Kid was going to win it at one stage easily. We thought G-Star was going to win it easily, but mistakes at turn 3 have cost both of them dear, and now, after 51 laps of racing, barely a second separates them as we hare through the castle section. Only a few corners left, with through 13, now through 14. The treacherous turn 15 remains, and then it'll be a drag race to the finish.
Yeah, it definitely will. This is... He's not... G-Star's hit the wall! He just clipped out the fast right-hander. Oh, Kid's in the wall! He's got wing damage.
He has. He's lost an end plate, so now he's still in the lead. But all of that gap, I thought it was going to be Kid's, but there was one final mistake, one final twist in the tail, and now it's going to be an absolute drag race. G-Star is going to have the DRS and the ERS as they hare through 213. How Kid's kept it out of the wall in that section, I'll never know. And I'll go forward with G-Star Snipes. Has he got it? The gap is coming down, 0.4. Kid is sort of weaving all over the place, but I think it's going to be fine, and it is going to be Kid Dynamite who takes the race win. G-Star Snipes in second. Boy, they kept that exciting right to the end, and hats off to Kid Dynamite.
They both hit the ball in the space of a corner.
They did. It was, absolutely insane. Hats off to Kid Dynamite on the win. Thanks for keeping the race alive as well at the end. He could have just gone up the field, said I'm going to take an easy victory, but he didn't. He did it the hard way. We're on board with Ant now, who's had an interesting race, a quieter race down the back of the field. Is he going to go across the line? Is he going to get a fast lap for good measure at the end? We'll see that time as he comes across the line. Kid Dynamite had got a 1:44, and it's going to be a 1:44.693. Not quick enough for the fastest lap, unfortunately. It's going to be a third place. And right at the back there, in the Lotus-themed livery, Era Voice. Your eyes do not deceive you, ladies and gentlemen. The fourth on track is going to be our last driver across the line. Oh, race of attrition tonight.
He's on a Sunday drive at this point. Yeah, I think there's a lot of takeaways for drivers to take from this race.
Yeah.
The ones that drove 1 lap, the ones that drove 51. I think that they've all probably got things they need to work on.
Yeah, it's a learning experience. We've got people in the YouTube chat here. What happened with everyone else? Oh my god, dang, what happened to the rest of the grid? It's not like a tactical nuke, it's not anything, it's not like a COD perk or anything.
I got 30 kills without a death in COD and then I
exactly. Yeah, nothing. Era is weaving down that back straight. I'm so nervous he's just going to whack into the wall. But no, he isn't. He's across the line in P4. Hats off to you if you are able to finish that race. Clearly an achievement in itself. The race is going to give the game is going to give driver of the day to Kid Dynamite. Who's your driver of the day going to be?
I'm being dead serious. Do you know what? I'll be nice. Kid did start last. He did win the race. Do you know what? I'm going to give it genuinely. To all 4 drivers that finished. Oh, okay, that's excellent. That's excellent, and the mother of all cop-outs there. So congratulations to you on that. I think ultimately that was the difficult part in this race. Apparently, yeah, it was. There was no driver that sort of had a flawless race, did they? Even Kid up the top and G-Star both making mistakes. I think I mentioned it earlier. Anton is the only one I didn't actually visibly see make a mistake. I think you're right. So maybe our driver of the day by default goes to Ant. But let's take you through the finishes there. This won't take you long. Kid Dynamite first, G-Star second, and in third, Era Voice in fourth, and then we've got the rest of the field, unfortunately. Smith was the highest of our challengers here. He DNF, Bit DNF, Chelsea was in second place for a while. He did DNF, Single Track, Avanash, Bergen, Biff, Johnny Smooth, Lorpy, Donny, Geke, Smoky Ghost, Jackster, Rishi, Woomax, and Scottish Ninja all, unfortunately, did not finish the race. So chaos here in Baku. Fingers crossed we get a little bit of racing and a few less cars in the wall when you can join us for the same track on Monday night. Tier 1 and Tier 2 action.
let's see how it goes. Thanks for joining me tonight, Connor. It's been a pleasure, as always.
It's always a pleasure. I think we had a good laugh considering all that happened. So I had a good fun. Let's put it that way. I think Biscuit Chat will be remembered for years to come.
It will be as maybe as just a sheer act of desperation. But yeah, like I say, join us on Monday night, and we'll see you all very, very soon. Good night.
Yeah, that was